Monday. That means, let's go.
Animal Kingdom, Kilimanjaro Safaris.
My name
Jumbo.
is Emma. I'm going to be your safari guide today here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Before we enter the reserve, just a quick safety reminder that you do need to remain seated with your arms, legs, hands, and feet inside of the truck at all times. You do also need to keep your face covering on, completely covering your nose and your mouth throughout the entire safari. Now that we have got that out of the way, I would love for you to take a look above your head at the animal spotting guide. That will help you to identify some of the species that we might get a chance to see here on the reserve today. We're not going to see every single one because of sleeping and migration patterns, but usually we get pretty lucky. Especially first thing in the morning. You guys made a good choice of coming here early. That is when the animals typically are the most active, so hopefully we will get a good show today. We are going to be beginning our journey in the Little Ituri Forest. The forest is a good place for animals to camouflage, so we're going to have to keep an extra close eye out for anything that might be blending in with the vegetation out here. Seeing a lot of activity here, and just over to the right side is an Okapi. And you might notice that the Okapi has stripes on its legs similar to a zebra, but they're not related to zebras at all. They're actually the closest known relative of giraffe. They have the same long neck, long face, and long prehensile tongues that giraffes have. And the stripes on their legs are just there to help them camouflage. Now, closer to the road on both sides of the truck are some greater kudu. The kudu are actually the tallest of all the forest antelope, standing about 5 feet.
You're fine.
Now, it looks like both of these ones here are female. I can tell because they do not have any horns. Male kudu are the only ones that can grow horns reaching up to 6 feet in length. Okay. Oh, there's a much larger animal though over to the left side there.
There's a rhino up here.
You can see there's a black rhino just at the edge of the water. Black rhinos can weigh 3,000 pounds and they charge at speeds of 35 miles per hour. Because of their large size and speed, oh, there's another one. Rhinos don't have any natural predators and their only threat would be humans. Unfortunately, rhinos are poached for their horns, which are then sold on the black market to people who believe they hold medicinal value. But really, their horns are just made out of the same material as our own hair and fingernails. Let me give you a bit of
They put those metal things on the ground, in the water there, so they can't cross over.
Okay, look back over to our right side. There's a whole group of eastern mountain bongo. Actually, looks like some of them might have just been migrating across the road here. We are really lucky to see these bongos so close to the road. They do get the nickname the ghosts of the forest because usually they're hard to spot. They'll use those white stripes on their back to help them blend in with the dense vegetation here. Those stripes will mimic the appearance of sunlight coming through branches, which sort of breaks up their body form, making it harder for predators to identify exactly where they are. Looks like there's another one just coming out from behind the bamboo on the left side. Also to the left side, there's some really large black and white birds. Those ones are called saddle-billed storks. And those birds will mate for life, which is why you almost always see pairs together just like that. All these species that we have seen so far have lived in this really heavily forested environment, which is a good reminder to us to make sure that we're always using paper responsibly. I'm sure that you've all heard the phrase, reduce, reuse, recycle, but not everyone may realize that that is the order that we want to do those actions in. A lot of people jump to recycling, which is wonderful, but we do want to make sure that we are reducing and reusing whenever we can, even before we get to that recycling step. Now, it looks like we have headed out of the forest now and down to the Saki River Valley.
There was a hippo.
Oh, look at that. Just over to the left side, a whole float of Nile hippos in the water there.
Next to the little island.
Hippos do spend most of their time in the water, keeping cool. Usually the only time that they will emerge will be at night, because that's when they'll walk miles on end to find enough grass to eat. Every night, hippos will eat 80 to 90 pounds of vegetation, and although they are completely herbivores, they are still considered one of the most dangerous animals here in Africa, and that's because of how aggressive they can be defending their territories. One species to have to get along with is the pink-backed pelican. You'll notice that some of the pelicans are nesting on the far left side of that island. Pelicans are considered colonial nesters, and they will nest in groups of up to 500 pairs. If you ever do see a bird's
and a
nest
duck.
of any kind
Couple
in your
ducks.
own house, it is okay to
Oh, yeah,
study
the
from a
blackbirds.
distance, but we don't want to get too close that we risk disturbing the hatchlings.
Pretty cool.
Oh, another animal we do not want to get too close to are the Nile crocodiles, also to the left side. There's quite a few out there today. I can see there's a couple more in the water too.
Pretty
You
sweet.
might be wondering, are they real? Why aren't they moving? Those are good questions. Yes, they are real, and yes, they don't move around too much. That's because crocodiles are considered opportunistic hunters. That means that they will sit and wait until the opportunity to eat walks right in front of their face.
Like that bird is.
That means they'll go for weeks on end without eating.
That would have been cool to
But
see.
then when they finally do eat, they can eat half of their body weight in one sitting. If any of you have ever visited Florida, you've probably heard of the American crocodile and the American alligator. Florida is the only place in the world where crocodiles and alligators can survive in the same habitat, and that would be in the Florida Everglades. One way to tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is by the shape of their snout. Crocodiles have more of a pointed nose, shaped like the letter V, while alligators have a rounded nose, shaped like the letter U. My favorite way to remember that is through the phrase, "See you later, alligator." "See you later" is a U-shaped nose for an alligator. Okay, now it looks like we just crossed over into the African savannah, which is one of the more recognizable landscapes here in Africa. It's also home to many of Africa's most famous mammals. Landscapes like this savannah would not exist at all if not for the animals that lived out here and helped to shape the landscape. The grazing animals like the wildebeest, the antelope, and the cattle would all act like lawnmowers, while the taller animals like giraffe would act as tree trimmers. You might notice that there aren't too many low-lying branches on the trees out to our right, and that's because the giraffe have eaten them all. Well, even larger animals like elephants would act as bulldozers. They would be the ones responsible for knocking down trees and leaving the fallen logs and stumps out here. Hopefully we will be able to see some, if not all, of those species as we head further into the savannah today. It does look pretty quiet so far, but there's still plenty more of the savannah to see.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. We don't see every little animal.
Okay, actually, if you look over to our left side, there's a whole pack of African wild dogs just to the right of their den. Like most of them are laying down, there's one walking around. Wild dogs are not like our pets at home. They are the most successful predators here in Africa. They will hunt in packs of up to 15, and they are successful 80% of the time. They are such great predators because of their endurance and stamina. Oh, there's one chasing the birds there. They will continue to chase after their prey until that animal just collapses of exhaustion. It's gonna chase more birds. Oh, there he goes. Keep looking out to the left side because there are some saber